station WIIFM, which stands for What's in It for Me. A person needs to sit down and ask, what would my life be like if I never had to work again? What would I do if I had all the money I needed? Without that little greed, the desire to have something better, progress is not made. Our world progresses because we all desire a better life. New inventions are made because we desire something better. We go to school and study hard because we want something better. So whenever you find yourself avoiding something you know you should be doing, then the only thing to ask yourself is, what's in it for me? Be a little greedy. It's the best cure for laziness. Too much greed, however, as anything in excess can be, is not good. But just remember what Michael Douglas said in the movie Wall Street. Greed is good. Rich Dad said it differently. Guilt is worse than greed, for guilt robs the body of its soul. I think Eleanor Roosevelt said it best. Do what you feel in your heart to be right, for you'll be criticized anyway. You'll be damned if you do, and damned if you don't. Overcoming bad habits. Our lives are a reflection of our habits more than our education. After seeing the movie Conan the Barbarian, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, a friend said, "I'd love to have a body like Schwarzenegger." Most of the guys nodded in agreement. "I even heard he was really puny and skinny at one time," another friend added. "Yeah, I heard that too," another one said. "I heard he has a habit of working out almost every day in the gym." "Yeah, I'll bet he has to." "Nah," said the group's cynic. "I'll bet he was born that way. Besides, let's stop talking about Arnold and get some beers." This is an example of habits controlling behavior. I remember asking my rich dad about the habits of the rich. Instead of answering me outright, he wanted me to learn through example, as usual. "When does your dad pay his bills?" Rich Dad asked. "The first of the month," I said. "Does he have anything left over?" he asked. "Very little," I said. "That's the main reason he struggles," said Rich Dad. "He has bad habits. Your dad pays everyone else first. He pays himself last, but only if he has anything left over." "Which he usually doesn't," I said. "But he has to pay his bills, doesn't he? You're saying he shouldn't pay his bills?" "Of course not," said Rich Dad. "I firmly believe in paying my bills on time. I just pay myself first, before I pay even the government." "But what happens if you don't have enough money?" I asked. "What do you do then?" "The same," said Rich Dad. "I still pay myself first, even if I'm short of money. My asset column is far more important to me than the government." "But," I said, "don't they come after you?" "Yes, if you don't pay," said Rich Dad. "Look, I did not say not to pay. I just said I pay myself first, even if I'm short of money." "But," I replied, "how do you do that?" "It's not how. The question is why," Rich Dad said. "Okay, why?" "Motivation," said Rich Dad. "Who do you think will complain louder if I don't pay them? Me or my creditors?" "Your creditors will definitely scream louder than you," I said, responding to the obvious. "You wouldn't say anything if you didn't pay yourself." So you see, after paying myself, the pressure to pay my taxes and the other creditors is so great that it forces me to seek other forms of income. The pressure to pay becomes my motivation. I've worked extra jobs, started other companies, traded in the stock market, anything, just to make sure those guys don't start yelling at me. That pressure made me work harder, forced me to think, and all in all, made me smarter and more active when it comes to money. If I had paid myself last, I would have felt no pressure, but I'd be broke. So it is the fear of the government or other people you owe money to that motivates you? "That's right," said Rich Dad. "You see, government bill collectors are big bullies. So are bill collectors in general. Most people give in to those bullies. They pay them and never pay themselves. You know the story of the 98-pound weakling who gets sand kicked in his face? I nodded. I see that ad for weightlifting and bodybuilding lessons in the comic books all the time. Well, most people let the bullies kick sand in their faces. I decided to use the fear of the bully to make me stronger. Others got weaker. Forcing myself to think about how to make extra money is like going to the gym and